welcome to the Narrowing Path, Walking the Spiritual Walk. My name is Steve Van Einstein. Thank y'all for joining me again today as we go through and we do today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. I'm looking forward to June 11th. It's been a great month. A lot of just great recentering, great responsibilities mentioned in this today, and it's or in this month so far, as we close in on finishing out half the year at the end of June, and I'm fully confident that the 11th is going to be another fantastic one. Just with the way June's been progressing and maturing through this month, so this will be fresh to you, fresh to me, of course. So you get my genuine response, reactions, observations, and what I relate to about the reading, because this will be the first time I'm hearing it or seeing it right on the podcast with you. So you get my off-cuff remarks, sometimes good, sometimes to be desired, I'm sure. So here we go. This is June 11th of James Allen's Daily Meditations. The body is the image of the mind. One who suffers in body will not necessarily at once be cured when he begins to fashion his mind on moral and harmonious principles. Indeed, for a time, while the body is bringing to a crisis and throwing off the effects of former inharmonies, the morbid condition may appear to be intensified. As a man does not gain perfect peace immediately, he enters upon the path of righteousness, but must, except in rare instances, pass through the painful period of adjustment. Neither does he, with the same rare exception, at once acquire perfect health. Time is required for bodily as well as mental readjustment, and even if health is not reached, it will be approached. If the mind be made robust, the bodily condition will take a secondary place, and will cease to have that primary importance which so many give it. Mental harmony or moral wholeness makes for bodily health. That is definitely one I needed to read, in light of everything that's been going on with me as well. Um, there's so much today that's placed on image, physical appearance. So many conversations about it, so many discussions about its influence, about what's right, what's wrong. And I really do, I believe wholeheartedly in what's being talked about in this meditation, actually, that when you straighten yourself out spiritually, and the mind will follow. And when the mind follows, the body follows. It's amazing how the body can actually reflect the pains you're going through in your life, right? I think the opening line of this, um, to some may seem odd, may seem unbelievable, but to me, I believe that it is true. Um, the body is the image of the mind. A healthy mind breeds a healthy body. The body follows the mind. But just like with everything else, the physical deeds and actions start first, and then we change the mindset, right? So, when we change the mindset, when we can see the thoughts that are going there and we change them, we choose differently, we see where they're coming from. Coming from a place of fear most times before we've done the work. So when we change that to the intention of love and righteousness, and and our mind starts reflecting that about our body will follow suit. I mean, there's actions we have to take. We have to um, eat well, and we have to take care of ourselves in these things. But those will come naturally to you when you straighten out your mind, when you don't have the desires for the I don't know how to say, sugars and all these other and caffeine and or alcohol, and when you straighten your mind out, those things hold no weight for you anymore. Because those are things that are so common in so many societies today that they're just staples. When in reality, when we really look at these things, we don't need them. They fill a hole, they create a void and then fill it. Um, so we'll go through this line by line. We've already talked about the opening line a little bit. The body is the image of the mind. Be careful what thoughts you're feeding your body. Here we go into the main body, the main text of this reading. One who suffers in body will not necessarily at once be cured when he begins to fashion his mind on moral and harmonious principles. That's a good, I like how he opens this up. Thinking right won't instantly cure physical ailments. It won't. Sometimes, you hear stories of it. You hear miracles happening. You hear almost, well, um, normally unbelievable feats occurring because of a change in mindset and change in thought pattern rather quickly. But that's not always how it goes, right? Just not. But it's a start. And when to get your mind to where you want it to be, that's where you've got to go. That's the direction you have to head. So, indeed, for a time, while the body is bringing to a crisis and throwing off the effects of former inharmonies, the morbid condition may appear to be intensified. See, everything in my life has followed that pattern. When I started to change how I used to be, I changed from how I used to be to how I currently practice and live and think and love in my life. It got worse. It got worse because I had to shed all of that skin. I had to, I had to change all of those perceptions. I had to step out of old situations and behavioral patterns and old even relationships that I had formed on on old selfish thinking, old self-serving thinking. So when I started to come to a life that was other centered, that was God centered, that was righteous, that centered on walking a righteous way of living, I had to let all that go. And it got way more painful for a while. I had to let go of so many old ideas about myself. I had to let go of so many external dependencies I had. And it hurt. It hurt so bad. And when I got sober, my body went through a time of transition too, where like every joint hurt, every bone hurt, every muscle hurt. I had to um, go through and get physical therapy done. I had to start with such low weight at the gym just to get started again, right? So it wasn't a quick process, but the mindset change helped me incredibly. The mindset change helped me incredibly. I'll tell you that. And I worked through that hard time, right? Like it's the cliche saying of it's always darkest before the dawn. And it's like that with everything. For me, it's been my experience. Every part of my life I've changed, every sphere of life I've changed has resulted in more pain right after the change, and then the healing, the peace, growth, that joy, the you reap the rewards afterwards, but it's a faith decision. It's a decision to do good regardless of circumstance. It's a decision to follow just that law of justice, because we don't get to just step away from the accountability of our actions that we previously had, as preferred as that might be for many of us. But as a man does not gain perfect peace immediately, he, he enters a excuse me, as a man does not gain perfect peace immediately, he enters upon the path of righteousness, but must accept in rare instances. but must, except in rare instances, pass through a painful period of adjustment. Yeah, so this is relating to the when you start living a different way of life, right? It's humbling because you have to start from the ground zero because we've built lives based on so much intolerance and so much self-serving and selfish behaviors. So before, so to be able to come back and say, I don't want to live that way of life anymore. We're starting over on fresh foundation, much more solid foundation of serving that power greater than ourselves, is certain living a righteous life, living a good life, a life serving truth. Right when we decide to walk this narrowing path, this spiritual walk, right, it hurts more, especially in the beginning. It hurts in all the ways we didn't want to hurt. That's especially the most difficult part of this because it hurts in the ways we've been running from for so long. But when we move to this path and we change the course and we walk forward through it with our head held high, that pain is meant to form us. That pain is meant to mold and shape us into the individuals we have. We're supposed to walk through that pain and not even carry that pain, in my opinion. I don't believe we carry it. We're supposed to walk through it, let it pass through us, and change what it needs to change to build us into the people we're supposed to be, build us into the men and women that we're supposed to be built into. That's important. Life will educate us. Life will teach us. Life will force the growth. When we turn away from the pain, we are choosing to stay exactly where we are. We do not grow until we turn towards the pain. Okay. He finishes that sentence, by the way, with neither does he, with the same rare exception, at once acquire perfect health. So he's just comparing the physical progress to the spiritual progress, right? So when we start to live spiritually, it hurts, and it takes a while to actually really be committed and walk down this path, spiritual way of living, and do it well, right? And do it in a way that you're proud of, and then he's comparing that to the physical, like when we start to straighten out our minds and we start to think properly about our bodies, the physical um, health will follow, but it'll give us some problems. It'll give us a little bit of trials and tribulations to walk through. I believe it. Okay. The next sentence here is time is required for bodily as well as mental readjustment. Even if health is not reached, it will be approached. So even if the immediacy is not there, which is what most of us look for, we like the immediate turnaround, the feel good right now, even as that's approached, right? Or as soon as we begin this journey, we're approaching better. And so even if how did he phrase it? Perfect health, is not reached immediately, we're still going to be in a much better place. And we're on a path to achieve that perfect health as well, I might add, right? Because this is the only way to actually achieve it and maintain it. If we're constantly in fear of losing it and doing all of these external things to drive ourselves insane, we're setting ourselves up for failure as it is. I think this is the last sentence of the main body of this. If the mind be made robust, the bodily condition will take a secondary place and will cease to have that primary importance which so many give to it. So here we go. Strengthen the mind, walk this spiritual way of life, straighten out yourself spiritually. That'll then straighten out the mind, and that will then, lo and behold, straighten out the body. In the 12-step community, it says work out or correct your spiritual life, and the mind and body will be soon to follow. And that was honestly my experience. Um, until I really started living differently, did I have the desire to really do right by my body, let's say, do the right things and take the right actions. So the primary is spiritual, and then the mind will follow, and the body soon after, as long as we're taking the appropriate actions. All right, so now this is the closing tagline here, I guess. Mental harmony or moral wholeness makes for bodily health. When you can walk without the stress in the shoulders. I mean, just from a scientific standpoint, like this makes so much sense. The gut health gets better because your anxiety is not tearing apart your insides. Your shoulders are able to drop a little bit more. Your lower back is okay, like, and you're able to walk straighter because you're not beaten down by depression. These are these are very um, these are scientifically proven facts that a healthier mindset will help your body physically, but it goes way beyond that. Right? When you feed your body good thoughts, when you feed yourself positivity, your body responds in kind. It really does, in ways you wouldn't even expect it to either. So it's a beautiful experiment that I encourage you to try. Just be prepared for it to get a little rough when you first start to go. Okay? And don't say I didn't tell you so. But it's worth it in the end. I promise you that. So there we go. That is June 11th reading for James Allen's meditation, and an awesome one. He doesn't address the physical health or physical aspect of this walk very often. So to get one that's specifically about it, really, is really cool. So I'm grateful for today's for sure, and I'm excited to see what tomorrow brings us. So come on back for June 12th tomorrow, and we'll go from there. So until next time, thanks.